So today I'm going to be giving you a live breakdown slash recap of how I was able to make a little over $5,000 trading in the stock market in just under 20 minutes. So I'm going to play the recording from earlier this morning where I did lock in profit live, and then we're going to hop inside my trade journal and I'm going to break down the specifics behind this trade and how I actually came up with the bias I had to make that $5,000 you're about to see right now. All right, looks like Amazon is pushing into the open. Market opens in now. All right, market's open. Let's go ahead, lock in profit on this trade, send this order through, and let's see if we can get filled here. Okay, got 46 contracts in. See if we can get filled. There we go, filled on Amazon. That was a nice 4K on the day, P&L year. So total I made on this single trade was $5,100. Lucky in profit just like that, live for you guys. So if I head over to the monitor tab, you can see here is my broker statement with the order fills. So yesterday you can see here are my entries. Okay, my fill prices, obviously, and then the time upon entry. 347, closed it at 931. So Amazon continuing to rally, but we locked in profits, so we are good. And here are some member profits. I just want to show you really quick. Okay, one of the license holders, Larry, actually was able to make $1,000 or 40% on that same sweep alongside myself. So here is the trade I actually just imported inside my trade journal. You can see the net P&L. Okay, that is after the commissions and fees from my broker was $5,043. Now, the net ROI on this trade was 24.08%. So 24% profit on this position. Okay, my adjusted cost. So the size behind this position was 20,000. About $21,000. You can see my average entry, $4.54 a contract. My average exit was $5.65 a contract. You can see my executions here, as I showed you before, on my broker statements, and then my order fills. Okay, so my entries, obviously, and then my exits, getting rid of those two positions. Now, what if I told you I actually did not look at a chart? I didn't look at any news, any fundamental analysis. The only way that I was able to capitalize on this opportunity to first know what stock to look at trading, to know what direction to bet on that stock going, was all thanks to my software. So I'm gonna pull up my software and I'm gonna show you the exact sweep that came through yesterday. Now, without getting into too much detail, as to how my software works, I will put a link in the description below if you want to watch the full video that I made breaking down what the software is, how it came to be, how I created it. Well, the software is my edge in the stock market. I always say you need an edge to find that consistency, to find that profitability, to be in that, top 5% of people that are actually profitable trading. And so this is my edge that I've been using to trade on for the last 4+ years in the stock market. Now, when it comes to order flow, I'm trading options specifically. This is options order flow data. I have filters in place. I have a matching engine on the back end where we're able to essentially filter through and find orders out in the market that present both high expectancy using certainty and risk. So there's this scale that we've implemented, and we take all of the order flow data across the US, filter it through this matching engine, and I'm able to pull the most profitable orders that come through in the flow. So for example, if I look up Amazon, this is the sweep that came through on Amazon yesterday. That is one individual coming in, sweeping up these contracts across multiple exchanges. So someone came in at 3:38 p.m. yesterday on the 20th, bought up the Amazon 167.50 calls expiring March 15th, and there was $4 million in size behind those contracts. Now, this individual got filled at $440 a contract. So when it comes to my trading strategy, I have a means to look at a chart, and based off of that chart, from a technical perspective, be able to identify whether there is what I call a setup there or not. Now, that is one way I go about trading. Now, the other way I go about trading is solely based off of the software alone. That's why I said I didn't look at anything from a technical perspective or fundamental. I simply saw this sweep come through on my software. After it was filtered through using our matching engine, we got this order, and I then, based off of all the criteria, looking at this order, gauging certainty and risk, obviously you could see that someone put on $4 million in size behind these Amazon calls that inherently have a lot of risk behind them that expire March 15th, okay? In a month from now. That is a massive cost size. Now, depending on how you go about trading the sweeps and how I do, certain sets of sweeps that come through on the software are sitting at around 80-90% win rate. With the million plus sweeps, these tend to have a very high expectancy of actually playing out. So I obviously went ahead and purchased the same contracts that came through on the software. And just minutes after market close, news came through that Amazon was actually replacing Walgreens in the Dow, okay? So what did we see? Well, in the after hours session, Amazon jumped about 1.5%. Okay, so the sweep came through at 1438. Okay, right here. I entered at 343. Okay, 343, right about here. And then after market news comes out, oh, Amazon is joining the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And you can see based off of that news, there was a massive rally. We ended up holding that momentum essentially through aftermarket, and pre-market sold off a little. And off the open, you could see, you know, we did open up about 1.5%. I ended up locking in profit, as you saw earlier. So that was an example of how I trade using the software, just purely with the software, nothing else, no fundamentals, no technicals. I don't even need to look at a chart. I just look at the sweep, okay? And I trade based off of the sweep criteria and what the software presents. Now, granted, it's not too frequent that we'll see very massive size sweeps like that. I would say that is pretty abnormal to see a sweep of that size, which is why I ended up taking that trade, gauging risk and certainty, obviously knowing that any sweep that comes through on the software, these all present very, very high expectancies. The other way I'll go about trading the software is when a sweep comes through, I will look at the chart, and then based off the technicals presented, whether there is a setup there or not, if my bias behind the chart aligns with the bias behind the sweep. So if I have a setup where it's a very bullish setup where I would buy calls, I'd go long, and you can see that calls came through on the software, that means I would take that sweep. I would trade that sweep. But in some certain cases, when it comes to swing trading, I will take a sweep purely based off of the software alone, no technicals. And there were also a couple other very large sweeps yesterday on ticker symbol AVGO, and you could just see yesterday's flow. Now, if you guys are interested in learning how to become a consistently profitable trader, or if you simply just want to copy my trades, one thing I offer inside my mentorship group is the ability to not only see but copy my trades. So when I post a trade, I'm posting that entry. When I close that trade, I'm posting that exit. So whether you have that time that you want to invest to learn this lifelong skill of trading, or if you simply just want to build up another stream of income on the side with very little to no work, essentially the easiest, most hands-off way of trading in the market by just following myself. It is totally up to you. I will put a link in the description below to my mentorship group, and you can go ahead, click that link and apply if you'd like to do so. With that said, subscribe for more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.